they finally captured the world's most dangerous hijacker. Now, they're bringing him back for trial on a plane.
Notify my people. They'll know what to do.
That was their first mistake. Once again, Charles Rain is in control.
And how do you like your sirloin, sir?
Bloody.
But there's just one thing he didn't count on.
55, 56, 57.
Passenger 57.
I watch your show all the time.
My show.
Never miss it. Woo, woo, woo.
Who's in charge?
I am.
Once again, who's in charge?
You are.
Wesley Snipes.
No, this is not happening.
You! Back to your seat!
His name's John Carter. He's airline security. Tell me you're good at this.
I'm the best.
Plan not working out the way you want it?
Don't flatter yourself, Cutter.
One way or the other, we're going down. No, just chill out. I'm one of the good guys. Didn't your father ever teach you never send a boy to do a man's job?
Wesley Snipes.
You need help? No. He's all mine. You ever play roulette?
On occasion.
Well, let me give you a word of advice. Always bet on black.
And welcome everyone to Bullets,
Bourbon,
and Karate. And this week's episode is
Passenger 57.
Marcus.
Right here.
Let's say, for instance, you are an FBI agent.
Sure.
Go with me on this.
Okay. I've passed the farm. I'm out of the farm.
You're out of Quantico.
Okay.
You're an FBI agent.
Yeah.
You all have apprehended the most dangerous terrorist on the planet, who has taken down, by his own admission, 5, 6 planes. Something like that, or taking hostage 6 or 7 planes, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're talking to him, if we're talking about who I think we're talking about,
yes,
then he's done more. He just publicly known probably.
You know this man is dangerous on airplanes.
Right.
How would you choose to take him across country?
Yeah.
Would you put him on a plane?
Well, yeah, I'd probably put him on Virgin or something like that. Probably Mid-Atlantic, an airplane company that is going debunked. It looks like
because
downhill. We
have the most dangerous airline terrorist in the world, and they choose to take him on an airline.
On an airline.
We're talking about Passenger 57.
They take him in coach, Adam.
They take him in coach. He's got an aisle seat though.
He does.
Which I always enjoy an aisle seat to anything. Well, no, I prefer a window seat. What do you prefer?
No, I actually, so I hate flying, but I prefer the window seat only because I tell my wife that if the plane goes down, I want to see it go down. I would rather see what's happening and know my death than be in the passengers or in the aisle.
That is very John Cutter of you.
Yeah.
See it coming. This movie is badass, and we're about to get into that. But first, let's take care of the housekeeping. Shiz it. You can find us at social media, all of them. Facebook at Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate, and on Twitter and Instagram at BB Karate Podcast. Where else, Marcus?
They can find us on Facebook, Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate. Did you say that already?
I did, but
you
what
probably
else?
did. Well, we'll mention it again. And then at Gmail, BB Karate Podcast at gmail.com.
You can find us in all of those. We're usually pretty interactive on here, so we'll ask questions in past episodes. And hey, if you listen to an old episode and you're like, oh man, I wonder if they've taken care of this, email us. We might send you something anyway.
I have plenty of shitty baseball cards that I can send you for free.
We'll gladly spend $4 on a DVD copy of Tremors for you.
Yeah, would love to.
Hit us up. We're always looking for some positive reviews and 5 stars. It takes 1 click to give us 5 stars, but it does so much more. It's about the most you can get out of the most minimal movement I feel like it does the most for a human being.
You can do it whenever. You can do it when you're taking a dump. You can do it right after sex. You can do it when you're eating breakfast.
Which is probably the best time to listen to this podcast.
I think so.
Right after just a hot sesh of lovemaking, which I imagine happened after this movie to continue the story of John Cutter and his and Marty.
Oh, definitely.
They were on their way to it, and I thought, and we'll get more into it, but I thought at the end when Sly Del Vecchio can't find Cutter, it's like, and somebody goes, "Oh, the last time I saw him was with a flight attendant."
Yeah,
I thought for sure it was like going to cut to them, like the first time I saw this movie, like, oh, it's going to cut to them making out or like doing something, and Sly Del Vecchio was going to be like, "Whoa, okay." But no, it just sort of cuts to them walking around. Yeah, that's it. This was a huge movie when it came out, for me anyway. Do you have a personal history with this movie at all, Marcus?
I actually, not that I can remember. So I know I've gone back, and so I've been on dates and watching a movie, or had somebody over to my house, been over to a friend's house. But I actually don't. I know that I rented it. I didn't see it in theaters, but I know that it was kind of my first taste. I probably had seen White Men Can't Jump, but it was probably my first kind of overall taste of Wesley Snipes, especially in an action role. But I don't. I mean, we can talk about the year and everything, but as far as the distinct memory of watching the movie and everything, I don't really have one.
Yeah, for me as well, I know I rented this movie as well. I don't think I would have seen it at 9, but who knows? I think there was a moment where I was, for most of my childhood, I was very into martial arts. So whenever I see karate or martial arts being used in a movie trailer, I'm in.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This day, that's kind of my thing, too. But especially then. So when I would have seen Wesley Snipes come out in this movie, I was familiar with him, specifically from White Men Can't Jump, though I think I saw that later, probably when I was in double digits, maybe 10. Yeah. So I bet I would have seen this around 11 or 12. This movie specifically, because White Men Can't Jump started coming out on television, HBO and stuff like that or whatever. So I remember seeing that, and I loved White Man Can't Jump. Yeah. I would watch it, I would go to the basketball courts, watch it again, go to the basketball. That was my whole routine for a while. I never got very good, but I got pretty decent at basketball. And I would do the same thing with action martial arts movies. Sure. When I saw Wesley Snipes giving that faraway glance that all action heroes do on the cover of, just sort of up and to the right. Just
that 45-degree angle, chin up,
Bruce Willis does it on Die Hard. Predator, the cover, Arnold kind of does it on Predator. It's his full body, but he's still sort of looking away. I was ready.
Right.
I was ready, and I remember watching this, and I went outside and started doing karate immediately. And something else that coincides with this for me, I don't think, maybe it's probably not even related, but I remember watching like this kung fu demonstration once on television
with Steven Seagal.
Just sort of him flailing around. Yeah. No, it was something they like honored Cynthia Rothrock there, okay. And they had Wesley Snipes come out and present something because he was an action star at this point. This was after '92, which is when this movie came out. So this would have been, I would bet 97. Let's say 96, 97, like later. He comes out, and it was the first time I'd realized Blade was coming out.
Yeah,
didn't know what it was, but he goes, I'm honored to be here tonight. I just want to let you know there's something huge coming, and it was just basically the movie poster for Blade appeared behind him.
Oh, nice!
And everyone's like, "Oh, yeah." I didn't know what it was, but he had a sword.
Yeah,
I was ready.
Yeah,
I think Wesley Snipes is bona fide. I think he's badass in this movie. I think he comes across like a huge star.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean. As far as like we talked about at the other movies that we've seen, to that where other actors and the other characters help carry that movie along with it, I think this one Wesley Snipes pretty much holds true to everything. I mean, Wesley Snipes carries Passenger 57.
He carries it. It's carried by very strong performances from the two leads.
Yeah. Bruce Payne.
Bruce Payne plays the lead.
Charles Rain.
Bruce Payne plays Charles Rain.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes plays John Cutter, as if you couldn't have a more masculine 90s name.
Cutter is great. Yeah.
Cutter's great, and
Sly Del Vecchio. I mean, Tom Sizemore does a great job too. I wish he was in it more. Actually,
I kind of do too. Yeah. He and Wesley Snipes have a very tight relationship. We don't get to hear any backstory over why. it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you saved my ass a bunch of times. I'm your right-hand man. I love you so much.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes doesn't really do much to show that he cares for...
No, he doesn't. I mean, Sly brings up a lot, always, bringing up the dead wife. It's kind of you got to get over that. You got to get past that shit. And you could tell he's there. He cares about Cutter. But we never see that remorse or anything, or that display of affection from Cutter to Sly.
And that's kind of his whole thing in this movie, I think. We don't have any personal stories, but it's always funny when an action movie like this, because this was a big one. We'll talk about its gross, but its budget was $15 million, made
that's
over
crazy.
$65 million. So huge.
That's a blockbuster.
That's a blockbuster.
Yeah.
That gives Wesley Snipes the cred to be like, I'm Van Damme. I'm up there with all of them. Well, Van Damme at this point was still big at 92.
Oh
yeah. But when these movies come out, there's an unknown nostalgia for me connected to the movie, and it's like I know I watched this movie. I watched it several times as a kid, but I can't connect to it. I can't connect the memories of the movie. I know I saw it, but I can't connect. Oh, I remember when I saw it, and I don't know what causes a movie to do that. Like I remember seeing Demolition Man in theaters.
Yeah,
I remember that whole day almost, but I don't remember when I saw this movie.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I can't put my finger on it, but I think when I have the memory, or I try to remember that, it brings around like this spider web of other things that I remember distinctly. That has to do with T2, other action movies and stuff like, but seeing this, like I remember things like thoughts that I had about it. I remember thinking, oh, this is like, I don't understand how they can do this all on a plane before I watched it. Like before I popped in the video cassette, I was like, this can't happen. There's not enough room on a plane. Yeah. And I didn't know how much room there was on a plane. I didn't know cargo holds existed.
Yeah.
I didn't know, the little I'd only been on a flight I think probably once before I saw this movie, because I never went anywhere living in Odessa, Texas, but I remember not knowing that there was a little section for the stewardesses and stewards and everything too, or flight attendants.
Very clear in this movie.
And then I never knew, of course, like the little elevators. Like I thought, oh, this is all a movie set. Like there can't be elevators in an airplane.
Dumbwaiters.
Dumbwaiters. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
I think as a kid, it's like they take the idea for Die Hard and they shrink it down more and more and more. Okay, we're in a building, but even in the building, he was in tighter spaces. But let's take the idea of a building. Let's put it on a ship. Let's take the idea of a ship. Let's put it on a fucking plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this movie, if you're looking at it from a critical eye, sure, it leaves a lot to be desired. There's this random scene where they leave the airplane. I don't think they needed to. I think they could have done more creative stuff in the airplane. I think the best parts of the movie are on the airplane.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I mean, we're off the airplane on the first, we're on the airplane, then we're off the airplane, then we're back on the airplane for the final act. It's just, it's a little too much.
And it just seemed unnecessary as you watch it. It's like, you have so much left on this airplane that you haven't even touched.
Right.
Why get off? I don't think you need to broaden the scope. I think what makes this movie so cool is the fact that they're fighting in aisles.
Sure.
They're having knife fights in these very closed-off spaces. The very first time we see Cutter fight somebody, it's like in a 2-foot alleyway on the airport.
The laboratory, that one, the curly-haired guy who
is like the basis for Scorpion.
Yeah, and that's what I love too. Like, I love the whole dynamic, especially when Payne shoots the first hostage in the head. Like, that's right there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's I mean, like, come on, like that's a great start to a villain right there.
It is. The villain's great. Before we get too much into it, let's go ahead and talk about what are we drinking.
Well, tonight, I mean, it was your movie, this movie, so we decided that we wanted to do something in the style of a black rum for Wesley Snipes.
Because he's there's of course the classic line, we'll get to it.
Yep. But we also wanted to do, instead of a bottle, we wanted to do airplane bottles. So we just picked out a trio. I picked out a trio of airplane bottles of different rums that we have. We have a Captain Morgan. Is that just an original spiced rum?
Original spiced rum.
And what else do we have over there?
We have an Oak Heart, genuine spiced rum.
Okay.
And then we have the Captain Morgan Tattoo Black Rum,
Ooh.
which is the darker